All right, well, let's cut Gen some slack and move on to the other bears of our show. The summer Hikaru died.
Sure. Greg, get updated on your fucking terminology, Greg.
Oh, the size kings of our show, the summer Hikaru
I mean,
died.
he did fist him twice.
Oh, well, get ready for thrice.
True. Well, Greg, how are you feeling about Summer Hikaru died? Spoiler free.
It's pretty intense, this episode. I had a feeling something was going to happen. Yoshiki dropped a lot of hints throughout the episode. I do feel bad for the choir kids, but I think it was for the best. I think this is symbolism for Yoshiki's, I don't know, emotional distress he has for his dead friend Hikaru. And the choir sang better with him not
they
there.
killed it. They were fucking ripping it. And they were just like, I think that this is a really depressing episode when it comes to self-worth for Yoshiki. So let's get into it.
Episode 7 of The Summer Hikaru Died starts with a short flashback of Yoshiki returning home after the sleepover and is thinking about the Hikaru and Asako debacle that happened. Cuts back to the present, and Yoshiki and Hikaru are walking their bikes to school, and Hikaru is surprised Yoshiki isn't mad about the other day, and he tries to break the ice by bringing up the choir concert, and Mr. Hara basically giving up on them, but Yoshiki is as cold as ice and doesn't say anything. Yoshiki stops, and he's like, hey, you want to ditch school today? And Hikaru is like, but choir. Cuts to the school, and all the kids are like, man, choir concert today. I don't remember any of the lyrics. We're fucked. And cuts to the auditorium, and Mr. Hara is like, yeah, no, we're not going for gold. We're just going for survival. Yeah, we just want to get up there and try not to embarrass ourselves. And you know what? We're just going to do our best.
Just do your best. Try not to suck. And yeah, that's about it.
But it cuts to class, and Asako walks in and is like, damn, it's hot. And Yuki is like, morning. But Asako didn't hear. And then Yuki taps her on the shoulder, and she's like, oh, fuck, where'd you come from? And Asako says she's having trouble hearing. Yuki says the boys want to add choreography to the choir concert, and Yuta is just dancing at the front of the class with glow sticks, probably yelling infinity, and they want to also rap during the interlude, and the girls are like, that's dumb as fuck, we gotta put a stop to this. And Asako is like, Yoshiki could probably talk him out of it, but Yoshiki and Hikaru aren't there. Cuts to Yoshiki and Hikaru on a train, and Hikaru is like, you sure it's okay for us to ditch school? And Yoshiki says they have good attendance, so Mr. Hara shouldn't be that mad. Hikaru is like, oh, but are you mad about the other day? And the train passes through some trees and shadows are cast onto Yoshiki. And he's like, nah.
Everything's fine, dude. I feel
I'm good.
super good. I'm definitely not planning on killing you out here.
The trees pass and Yoshiki is like, damn, look at those kids riding their bikes. Hella hard in this heat. That looks like torture. And Hikaru is like, that's a normal day for us. And Yoshiki chuckles, but Hikaru still looks uneasy. Cuts to Yoshiki's dad in the forest getting ready to cut down some more trees, and a new recruit dude is like, man, it's hot. Can't I just wear a helmet? And he's like, nope, safety first. Gotta wear your PPE. Cuts to Kaoru and Yoshiki's mom driving, and Kaoru is not going to school again today. And I wonder why she doesn't go to school. My theory is, off the cuff, she sees like some spirits or something at school. That's why she doesn't want to go. But we don't know that yet. That's just me making assumptions.
My theory is that free labor for her mom at the salon, and she's like, yo, clean up this fucking hair after I cut these bitches' hair. And then Kaoru's like, okay.
But back to Yoshiki and Hikaru, and they get off the train, and Hikaru is like, where are we going? And Yoshiki says, to the movies. It's your favorite. And they're going to see Master. Cuts back to the school, and the other classes are doing their choir performances, and Asako, Yuki, and Yuta are like, damn, we're fucked. And Asako is like, still no sign of Yoshiki or Hikaru. Flashes back to the sleepover, where Yoshiki shoulder checks Hikaru, and then goes home. And he looks at a picture of his family on the phone, and apologizes to them. Ominous. Basically, when they decided that they were going to cut school, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
something's
Oh,
going on.
100%. I was like, dude, I think that either Yoshiki is going to confess his love or he's going to try and kill him. And, well,
I thought he was going to do, well, I mean, he kind of was planning on doing what I thought he was going to do. But yeah, you ditch school and then you look at a picture of your family and then say sorry to the
yeah,
picture.
no.
It's like, okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Something's
He's going to
on.
jail. Like, or
either he's going to jail or he's not going to exist at the end of the episode. One of the two.
the other thing I thought was that maybe Yoshiki was planning on killing himself.
That's what
Yeah.
I thought. He kind of leaves it up there at the end.
Okay,
We'll
this
get
is
to
the whole point of this episode, is that it's so hard in the world for Yoshiki to exist. He feels directionless and rudderless to a certain extent. He feels isolated from his friends. He feels isolated from his best friend who died last year, and he's now got this dude walking around in his body. It's like the amount of stress that Yoshiki is under for these rash-ass decisions that he's making is insurmountable for normal people. And I would 100% agree, like, and see from Yoshiki's angle, this is a fucked up scenario, man. It is so fucked up. And, like, the feelings and being conflicted in every step he takes on what to do with this monster he's standing beside.
I didn't get the feeling he was going to confess to Hikaru, just kind of how he was going about his master plan.
100%. I was joking. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This is not a love story. Like, this is a love story to a certain extent, but this was not a hunky-dory slice of life. Like, oh, I really like you, Hikaru. No. It's like, I'm fucking hanging myself from this bridge later today, and I just wanted one good day with you. That's the fucked up nature behind the show.
Cuts back to Yoshiki and Hikaru watching the movie, and Yoshiki is just sitting there, and he tells Hikaru he isn't mad and to just watch the movie. And the characters on screen are talking about forever friendship together. Cuts back to the choir, and their class is up now, and they sing, and it's doing a montage of Yoshiki's dad walking with the new guy, Yoshiki's mom at the salon, and Yoshiki and Hikaru at the movies. And Hikaru looks excited, and then they go get some ice cream. And the choir lyrics are matching with the stuff happening on screen. Then Hikaru and Yoshiki are at the game center, and Yoshiki wins some master finger puppet shit for Hikaru, and Hikaru says he really is a nice guy. Yoshiki's dad is cutting down a tree with a 1,000-yard stare, and then Yoshiki calls his mom and is like, hey, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I'm fucking good. What the hell's wrong with you? And he's like, all right, cool. The choir kids pull off the performance, and Yoshiki tells his mom to tell his dad to take care, and he looks at the picture of his family one more time. The kids are like, Yoshiki and Hikaru really didn't show up, and then cuts to Yoshiki's dad and the new guy is like, damn, watching this cedar hardwood tree fall really gets me going. Doesn't your kid think it's cool too? And Yoshiki's dad is like, nah, he's too old, and I barely talk to him anyway. It's complicated. Kaoru is like, why was Yoshiki talking quieter than normal? And then his mom is like, oh shit, did he ditch school? Yoshiki and Hikaru are walking, and Hikaru is like, I wonder if this river goes to the ocean. And Yoshiki is like, yeah, probably. And he's like, you want to see the ocean? Hikaru is like, ocean is big as fuck. But I got a vague memory of it. You went with Hikaru on the way home from school once in the middle of winter, and it has a flashback to that. And Hikaru said he would want to see it again, and he's getting sick of all these mountains. Hikaru is like, let's go swimming and catch some sharks. And Yoshiki is like, well, sharks aren't that easy to catch. And Hikaru says some funny stuff about using Yoshiki as bait. Hikaru is like, let's go see the ocean sometime. Maybe summer break. Yoshiki is quiet. And Hikaru is like, ice cream and movies and learning all about this stuff is sick, especially with you, Yoshiki. And Yoshiki is brooding, but then turns and says, he's in, and they'll go see the beach next time. And this just reminds me of Mice and Men. Did you ever read that book or watch that movie in school?
I'm not cool enough to be smart. This scene, by the way, is so beautiful. It's so well drawn. Like, it's so... Okay, to get this angle in real life is obviously nearly impossible, but in our medium of watching animation, you could really warp the world and have really interesting dynamics because you can imagine anything. This is almost like an allegory to suffocating. They are below the water, standing on what could be the seabed, looking at this, staring at each other. The world around them doesn't matter. It's just those two right there. It's like a beautiful and also horrifying imagery of what Yoshiki is going through. Hikaru is just hanging out. He is Greg in the morning, flying by the seat of his pants, asking stupid questions. Should I put pants on? Probably not. I don't care. This body is fucking weird. And he probably like hits his penis around and stuff, or like helicopters in the shower. Is that pretty much like a standard day?
Yeah, it's tracking so far. Keep going.
But yeah, I really enjoy this show and the way they portray everything.
They get back to Yoshiki's place, and he heads upstairs immediately. Hikaru is hanging out, playing with the master finger puppets Yoshiki won at the game center. And he's like, how did these two master characters, Ron and Tsumo, become such good friends? And Yoshiki says Tsumo is Ron's only friend in the world. All right. So now they're laying it on pretty thick, where at this point in the episode, you're getting a feeling of what's about to go down. And then they're trying to like tug at the heartstrings here, where Hikaru is just hanging out, playing with the stuff. Yoshiki won him. And, you know, Hikaru is just like, man, this is the best day ever. I'm having such a great time. And Yoshiki is just like,
is Of Mice and Men the one where he shoots him in the back of the head at the end?
Yeah, Lenny,
yeah.
Where they're in the train car.
Oh, I thought they were just like outside.
Because in the movie, I read the book and the movie. I can't remember the book ending very well, but I distinctly remember the movie ending because I read the book and it felt like there was a little more suspense in the book. But in the movie, he's just like, Lenny, turn around. And Lenny's like, well, okay.
But Lenny's also like handicapped, isn't he?
Yeah,
he has a mental disability. Yep. But like he's just oblivious to the world. And the whole idea was that he didn't want him to experience the frustration of being mentally handicapped in the world, right?
A little bit. Because in the book, to give you like the cliff notes, basically Lenny and the other guy, I can't remember his name. Lenny is the handicapped guy. The other dude is his friend and is just getting him through life. And they're both like poor. They're just jumping trains. They get a job at some plantation, digging ditches or something like that. And then the plantation owner's wife was like, oh, Lenny, you're such a big, strong man. Why don't you come inside? And Lenny's like, no, I don't think that's a good idea. And then she tries to basically bang this handicapped guy. And then he pushes her away. And then the lady didn't want to be rejected by Lenny. So she basically said Lenny tried to, you know, take advantage of me. So then they had to go on the run. And pretty much at that point, I think the other character, he was like, I don't see any other way out of this for Lenny. Like they're gonna
put him in jail,
catch us,
right?
And then they wanted to just like
lynch him
at the plantation or whatever for trying to take advantage of this.
This all makes sense. The world was a lot smaller feeling in that regard, and I get it. It's also like when you're on the run like that, to see any other moments other than this exact thing and the worry and the fear. I'm sure the dude thought at some point, if I kill him, one, we won't have to be on the run, and two, I could look like the hero where I found him and killed him or something like that, and I could just go back to normal life.
That was the big thing, going back to normal life, because George was basically taking care of Lenny this whole time. Anyone that has ever had to take care of a handicapped individual, it is tough. And I think that's why the book is so powerful and considered like a literary classic, because you see this interaction between George and Lenny, and George has this internal struggle, like, what should I do? And then he decides that this is the best option for
we're
both
watching
of them.
Yoshiki and Hikaru go through that right now.
Yeah. So anyway, Yoshiki says, oh, I got a video of today's choir concert. So then Yoshiki and Hikaru watch it together on Yoshiki's smartphone. And as they're watching, Hikaru is like, oh shit, they sound good. Maybe I should have gone to. And then Hikaru starts to sing along with the choir in the video. Yoshiki stands up and gets something out of his bag and ominously starts walking towards Hikaru. And it's revealed that he has a knife. And as Yoshiki is singing to the choir video, Yoshiki stabs him and Hikaru drops the phone and the finger puppets, and they all end up on the ground with some blood next to it now. Was Yoshiki carrying that knife all day?
It was in his bag, yeah.
He
Yeah,
had to have,
100%.
because when he got home,
Right
he just
upstairs,
went
yeah.
right upstairs. He didn't go into the kitchen. That's crazy.
He had the plan from moment one. I think that once
Yeah.
once Hikaru threatened to kill Asako, it was kind of like, okay, I don't know how to handle this anymore. My friend was going to die after my other friend died last year. I'm walking around with this person that could be a serial killer. I have to do something.
Yeah.
He also has all this immense love and care for what the idea of his friend was, and the conflict going on in Yoshiki's brain right now as a 15, 16-year-old kid is probably insurmountable. He doesn't have the world knowledge, he doesn't have the understanding, and he's fearful of his entire group around him.
After Yoshiki stabs him, Yoshiki crumbles to the floor and is like, I knew you wouldn't die. I thought I could teach you to be different. And Hikaru is like, you hung out with me today because you were plotting to kill me? And Yoshiki says he wanted Hikaru's last memory to be a fun one. And since you can't die, I want you to kill me instead. So now this is basically, Yoshiki's just given up
100%.
almost at this point. He's like, this is the last thing that I can think of as like a 15-year-old kid to do to get out of this situation. That also didn't work. So then I guess just plan Z.
He didn't think at all about like, hey, maybe I could really like keep buckling down and teach him more about humanity.
Yeah.
He literally was like, okay, I can't risk anyone else. I can't risk myself. I can't risk my family. I have all this love and care for everybody around me, and I'm literally standing with a monster. This also could be an allegory to the amount of stress Yoshiki is feeling with his own internal issues with potentially being gay. This is the other side of it. The amount of anger he might feel for himself being raised in a particular way, he could just be lashing out. And luckily, from what we know at this moment in time, Hikaru hasn't done anything too bad.
He did kill Matsuda, the old lady. Well, he didn't admit it.
He alluded
but
to it.
I think it's assumed that he did.
But he was going to kill Hikaru in his house. There's no way he's like thought about hiding the body or like trying to cover up. He was just like, this is what's going to happen, and I'm probably going to go to jail for the rest of my life.
Well, I think he was going to double homicide. If Hikaru did die, I think that was his end plan.
Very possible. And then secondarily, like, he thought, well, if I doesn't kill him, which I don't think it will, I'll just have him kill me because I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, you can tell how half-baked the plan is because Yoshiki's like, okay, Hikaru, if you can't die, I want you to kill me. Pretty straightforward request. But as we see in these last handful of notes, after Yoshiki says that, Hikaru is like, damn, all right, that's what you want. And then even though Yoshiki asked him to do it, as Hikaru is contemplating the options, Yoshiki doesn't look like he's ready for death. He said it, but then after he said it, he's like, wait a second, maybe I don't want that. And now he's scared. Hikaru's blob is coming out of his eye, and he's like, is that a request? And Hikaru is conflicted and is like, if he's asking me, I guess I have to do it. Hikaru thinks he doesn't understand the value of life, and that's probably what's wrong with him. Hikaru unbuttons his shirt and reaches into himself and grabs like something attached to his sternum, breaks it and rips it out of his own body. He hands it to Yoshiki and says it's half of his insides, and he just tore it out. And he can't comprehend how much a life is worth. And by doing this, he made himself smaller, so he won't be able to kill people easily. Yoshiki is like, why would you do that? And Hikaru says he doesn't even know what he is, and he didn't think he had emotions before coming here either. But somewhere deep down, he knew he didn't belong. He thought he would just kill Yoshiki if he ever found out, but for some reason, he doesn't want to kill him. And in the end, Yoshiki accepted him for what he was, and for the first time, he felt like someone needed him, and he was allowed to be here. And Yoshiki became home. Yoshiki says, you're just a baby bird and clung to the first thing you saw. And Hikaru said maybe, but he doesn't care. Yoshiki thinks he shouldn't expect him to understand the meaning of life, and they're looking at totally separate worlds, and then says that time and time again that he's an idiot. Then, through another Yoshiki POV bang shot, takes Hikaru's offering and tells Hikaru he'll stick with him no matter what, even if something inside of him breaks, but then says whatever Hikaru is, he doesn't think he's supposed to be here. And if you want to stay in spite of that, ... Then it flashes a bunch of images of blood through the village in different scenes, like the school, in the ice cream store and stuff. And Yoshiki says, let's do some research and figure out what you are then. And then it shows the blob starting to engulf Yoshiki. And then I have a note that says this is probably what Ray was talking about with the mixing and becoming part of it. Because this looks like he's becoming part of it to me in this screenshot here. But then that's the end, and then the credits roll, and then they change the credits on this episode. Now it's just a black screen with the credits rolling, and the ending song is just the choir song, but only performed by Yoshiki and Hikaru.
It's really well done. This episode is gorgeous. And like, it's very emotionally thought-provoking. The more I think about this episode, the more I look at where this show goes. My thought process is probably not what happens, because I'm, I just like to let my brain run wild. But I think that Hikaru ends up dying again. And that is what truly breaks Yoshiki to the point of, like, psychosis. Or something happens to both of them, Romeo and Juliet style. I think that this is a big part. Hikaru giving some of his power away. There is something that's going to happen where Hikaru cannot protect him anymore. I think this, whatever this is comfortable with death already, as we've established. It's just the other side of the coin, and will end up understanding what humanity is when it comes to this, and sacrifice himself for humanity and what life, quote unquote, is. You can use the allegory as them potentially having some sort of intercourse, but Yoshiki being, like, forceful, them not understanding each other's emotions. That's the other thought process I had with this episode, is, like, take the monster stuff away from it, is that he's afraid of them being together. Hikaru and Yoshiki don't know what to do. Yoshiki makes a rash decision. They end up sleeping together again. And then they're both freaking out. Are they actually here to be a part of each other's lives? Is this just a thing? They don't understand. And so this was basically like Hikaru being like, no, this is a part of me that I'm giving to you. I don't know what I'm going through. I don't know what you're going through. I just don't understand because this is so new. And then they have that discussion. The vulnerability, because you're giving yourself to somebody else and saying, I want to be with you, to a certain extent, Hikaru, giving himself, something of himself to Yoshiki. That's the vulnerability to let everything else destroy this relationship.
That just shows where someone of Yoshiki's age is mentally at. He literally went the entire day planning to kill Hikaru. He goes through with it. Obviously, Hikaru doesn't die, but then Hikaru is like, oh, here, I'm just going to break off a piece of me and give it to you as some sort of olive branch to show you that, okay, I'm here for the long haul. Let's do this thing together. And Yoshiki has a 180 of decision of what he wants to do. Because he said, Hikaru, I want you to fucking kill me. And instead, Hikaru gives him a part of himself, and Yoshiki is like, all right, let's just keep hanging out and figure out what you are, and we'll do it together.
Bringing it back. Like I said in previous episodes, how this monster is the fear of being gay in this world. In my fantasy kitchen of what I think is the allegory, they go to the house, they sleep together again, but Yoshiki's more invested this time, and then realizes what's happening and is like, I gotta go. I can't be with you. We can't be together. We can't do this. And then Hikaru's like, I love you. Like, I care for you. I want to be here with you. I didn't know what I was until I was with you. Maybe this is real. How do we figure this out? We have to learn about this and how to make this work potentially. I fucking love this show. I think it's so
It's really good.
So I'm really glad you picked this one. And like, it really gets my brain, you know, and I'm like, dude, this show is sick as fuck, dude.
I'm pleasantly surprised. I don't know what I was expecting, but I don't think I was
No,
expecting
100%.
this. But I'm glad that we are actually watching it because this is a really, really good show.